All six 2024 first-round quarterbacks made their preseason debuts. How do they look? We're offering our takes today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Joe, I want to wish you a happy National Pre-Draft Affirmations Day to you with week 1 in the books.
Yes.
Everybody you knew was going to be great and came out and played well. Everybody's celebrating those guys today. So happy Affirmations Day to you.
Yeah. I saw you had a tweet. Who were your guys that you were all excited about?
Was Malik Mustafa, who was a stone cold killer for the kickoff play and a hit down on a goal line.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also had Christian Haynes, the guard for Seattle, had some good plays. And I don't remember off the top of my head who my last one was.
My two were my Kansas guys. Austin Booker destroyed the Bills. And then Dom Puny, man. Look at him with the 49ers. He's a player. So, yeah, obviously I was perfect in my assessment of those players, and they're going to be everything I dreamed they would be based on their one preseason game.
Right. It was Ben Sinnott was the other one.
Oh, yeah, no, he's Ben Sinnott. Looks good. That was one of your guys, too. That was one of your guys. I remember when you put out your tight end rankings, and you were way ahead of me.
Tight end, too.
I'm like, what you talk about this tight end from Kansas State? Never heard of this guy. Yeah, it was a good take.
Yeah, he can run, he can block, he can catch. Now he's in an air raid offense in Washington.
Yeah,
it's a good combo.
Spot. Yep, here for it.
We'll talk about Washington a little bit more in this segment, too.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think I like the way that you got us into this conversation, because the reality is it's preseason game 1, right? It's all good to look at and evaluate, but it's not the end all be all. Nobody's career is defined. Nothing, right? Nothing is something you should take too much away from, but it's fun to kind of look at these debuts.
CJ Stroud had a rough preseason performance in his first game last year, as all the context you need for not to dismiss the conversation that we have.
Right.
But it's important context.
Right. So we're gonna share our observations, what we saw, but this is not we're not defining the career of anybody here today on this podcast.
But I think what was interesting for me is I reviewed most of these performances. I think you kind of got the scouting report of the player in the performance of the player.
Yeah, I think that's
true. Order that they're drafted.
Yeah,
and start with Caleb Williams.
So Caleb Williams, 4.7, 95 yards, had a rush for 14 yards against the Bills in Buffalo. I thought there was a lot of good. I think if you're excited about Caleb Williams and you're a Bears fan, you should be based on what he did. Loved the 3rd and 12 strike to DJ Moore. Thought he did a good job of hanging in the pocket, letting that route develop. The Bills had 2 rushers go through the same gap, gave him some extra time, settled in, threw the ball on target. Had the fun flip screen to DeAndre Swift, just kind of throwing it right across his body. Sold the fake and got the ball. It was a 41-yard gain from DeAndre Swift after the play there. The play action corner out to Cole Kmet. Dorian Williams gets sucked up on the play fake. He's running free down the seam, hits him. The 3rd and 9 scramble. I thought it was a lot of good from Caleb Williams, blending some in structure stuff, holding onto the ball, being able to make some plays. I thought it was a good initial showing for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it was a stuff on the move for me that really popped the most. You mentioned that 3rd and 12 conversion. Obviously, that was a good opportunity to stay in the pocket and rip a ball down the field. But the creativity in which he plays the game, but also the arm elasticity
Yeah.
in a lot of unique positions is what a lot of the really gifted passers are able to do. And I mean, that rollout on 3rd and 9 where he gets outside man on the line of scrimmage, and I thought he was going to take the underneath guy, and then I thought he was going to take the intermediate guy, and then there was a guy even deeper than that. he hit that guy in stride 30 yards downfield on a dead sprint to his right with a really concise stroke of the ball. All of that is what makes Caleb such an intriguing prospect. And I didn't think any of the pressure or the opportunities where he did hold the ball, he looked uncomfortable or under duress. And the biggest thing for him is just finding that balance of taking those opportunities as they come and not trying to do too much. But this was a really strong first impression that Caleb Williams left, and everything that you thought he would be based on the physical talent that he was, I thought he showed.
And I mean, 4 of 7, I thought two of those incompletions were drops. One by DJ Moore, one by Cole Kmet. So
yeah. I mean, the DJ Moore play was kind of tough. It was in traffic, going to the ground, but the Kmet one, I mean, that one hit him right in the hands on the sideline.
Make the play. So strong debut from Caleb Williams. I think if you're a Bears fan, you're excited. You should be.
Right.
Jayden Daniels.
Probably excited for Jayden Daniels too. I think every fan should have reasons to be excited, but this, when I say Jayden Daniels, you kind of got the book on the scouting report on Jayden Daniels. Rears back and throws a haymaker down the sideline for a vertical shot for his big passing play. Runs in a touchdown.
Zone read, yeah.
Zone read. That's exactly what you would expect for Jayden Daniels. And that ball to Dyami Brown was a beautiful bucket throw to kind of open things up for him to start the game.
Well, I guess he really started. He airmailed that little check down pass. That first throw, you could tell, man. Could you imagine your first ever NFL throw? Like, you're probably gripping the ball weird, your hands a little sweaty. You want it to look good, and the next thing you know, you just sail it over the head of somebody. But then, nice job settling in, like you mentioned. Right. The big story here is the 3rd and 6 bomb to Dyami Brown, and it's a good job identifying the matchup. Dyami Brown, and that's what he does. Like, wins vertical, be able to make a play on the ball, and just putting enough air on it to give him a chance to adjust and get under it and make the play. So that was an impressive play, obviously. And then zone read touchdown, easy decision. The defensive end sucks down, keep the ball, run it in, get yourself a touchdown. So not a ton of run for Jayden Daniels, but to come in 2 for 3, hit a bomb, have a rushing touchdown. I think that's the confidence you want to get out of your young quarterback to, steamroll into the rest of the preseason. It feels like all the momentum there is for him to be the starter. And so I think this is a good step in that direction.
Yeah. Love the fact only 3 dropbacks, but still manages to leave a touchdown drive. And you can kind of have that momentum to build into going into this next week against the Dolphins in preseason week 2.
Oh, the Dolphins are you all That's the right. Rookies. All right. Yep. Michael Penix and then Jayden Daniels. So very good. We're going to talk about.
We get Tampa week 3 though. So don't
get used to it. Kyle Trask, baby. Let's go.
Might as well be a rookie, right?
All right. So cool. We'll talk about Michael Penix and Drake Maye here on the other side of it, folks. Be sure to stick with us. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't even use other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. So hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Drake Maye.
So Drake Maye played, was it 6 or 7 snaps, which is since 2021, the fewest amount of snaps a first-round quarterback has played in their preseason debut. And I tried to research this as best I could to kind of understand the plan. And Coach Mayo came out and said, he in not so many words, he said, we don't really trust our backup offensive lineman, right? And so they didn't want to put Drake Maye out there for an extended period of time and pretty much promised that moving forward, he's going to play a lot. So that was their thought process there. And obviously Joe Milton comes in and plays quite a bit, but we don't see a ton of Drake Maye. He goes 2 of 13, for 19 yards and plays like 6 snaps.
Right. And what we had a check down or not a check down. We had a screen,
little flow screen.
to help pop for a first down for him. So
Patriots have been running that forever. It feels like.
Right. This one's the hardest one for me to have anything definitive to come away from, just because the body of work. It's like you'd almost be better off contrasting Joe Milton and his day to Drake Maye with the same offense. Fun fact, did you know that Joe Milton held the ball for nearly 2 more seconds per play, per pass attempt than Drake Maye did? Which is why if you're not going to trust your offensive lineman, put in the freak athlete,
right,
Joe Milton, to run around for Pro Football Focus tracked it at 4.23 seconds per drop back.
Brother, that's insane. That's a second longer than being insane. I mean, that's
correct.
That's nuts. One of the things about Joe Milton. So what? Drake Maye had an incomplete pass in the play action. That was like the most interesting rep that he had. Joe Milton, when he threw that touchdown pass, how do you think Tennessee Volunteers fans were feeling? Like, brother, you're supposed to airmail that by 10 yards. You hit the guy. Like, what happened here?
He was also wide open.
Does it matter with Joe Milton?
It doesn't matter there's already this kind of subdivision, and then it includes some pretty big national sports personalities that are just beating the drum that Joe Milton, as a 6th round pick and the Patriots, is going to beat out the 1st round pick quarterback. Can we stop? Can we please? Like, how little Tennessee and Michigan football did you have to watch over the past 5 years for you to think that Joe Milton's going to beat out Drake Maye long-term and be the long-term answer quarterback for the Patriots?
Is the interesting thing about the Patriots quarterback conversation who they roster? Because they have Brissett, Maye, Zappe, and Milton.
Zappe's gone.
Okay, so do you think that Bailey Zappe clears waivers and signs back with the Patriots, or do you think somebody claims him?
So,
and you think they're gonna roster Milton? I mean,
I think you will be forced to roster Milton because of his physical tools, in the same reason why you had to draft him in the 6th round, right? If he's just lying out there, somebody's going to give him an opportunity.
Right. Yeah, it's worth it in the 6th
round. So I think because of the intrigue in the physical skills that Joe Milton presents, I do think this is the most interesting thing about this room and this decision that they have. I think you do keep all 3 guys.
And then live with whatever happens with Zappe, because if you do claim him, you got to sign him to your active roster.
Correct.
And for Zappe, he might think to himself, if I get my choice of practice squads, this Patriots gig ain't that bad, right? Like, if you're going to be a backup or a practice squad quarterback.
Right. Bailey Zappe might be a more attractive option than some of these backup quarterbacks.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm bringing it up.
But to be on a 53 roster.
You watch the Chargers? You watch Max Dugan?
I watch
Stick, brother. They might want Bailey Zappe.
I watched Mike White and Skylar Thompson.
Might want Bailey Zappe. You know what I mean?
Speaking of that game against Atlanta, Michael Penix started for the Falcons. And again, what's the book on Michael Penix coming out?
The throws down the field,
shots down the field,
and inaccurate passes.
No, the narrative on Michael before the draft was odd because he was heaped praises as this crazy accurate quarterback. And he's an accurate downfield passer. He's got great touch in those instances. But he also really didn't work the middle of the field. And he had, I think, 2 checkdowns against Miami where he took stuff over the middle. But a lot of his stuff was outside the numbers and 10-plus yards downfield. And that's kind of where he won at Washington. So I like that that's how he got his feet wet and took a shot. And they beat Ethan Bonner at the line of scrimmage for a big gain where he gets the ball up and down very quickly. I think it's a lot of little stuff with Michael as far as, and he made the adjustment from the first time he threw a go ball down the field to the second time where he was a little bit more underneath of himself to throw the second one.
Yep.
where he kind of got that back there a little fast. I didn't think his feet were overly clean. And then he had that, was it the out route that he sailed out of bounds, high and out of bounds to his left. Just instances like that for Michael. I think the added polish as a pocket passer to throw with timing and precision has always kind of been the book on Michael, where there's a lot of room for growth. Now, the good news is with Kirk in the building this year, like Kirk's become a successful quarterback by maximizing all of those components of his game.
Yeah.
Right. So he's going to have a lot of opportunities to see that and see how it works and talk to Kirk and figure out why Kirk does it a certain kind of way, even though he's left-handed versus being right-handed for Kirk Cousins. So I thought the strengths of Michael Penix coming in, you saw those strengths in Michael Penix in this game tape. And the questions that you had as far as where's the most room for growth and growth opportunities for Michael Penix were the areas where you probably look at a few of the plays that he had out there and maybe you want him back. I will say one of the plays that impressed me the most, he did manipulate underneath defenders on a pump to one side and then came back to a sit route almost over top of the ball. And that play stood out to me as like, okay, that's some pretty nice little eye manipulation savvy that you had there to kind of force a window open for you.
I think if there's anything that surprised me about Michael Penix, and maybe this is another growth area, I thought he got the ball out really quick, like very, very quick. And some of that I think was liking things pre-snap and just going with it. And it felt like maybe a few throws were a little bit predetermined. And so I don't think Penix has never been a slow triggered quarterback, but I thought he got it.
He'd been about 2.7, 2.8.
Okay.
Snap to throw player in college.
Not super fast, but not super slow.
Correct. And that's about league average as far as quarterbacks in the league now. But he was under 2.2.
Oh, was he? So I didn't even know the numbers. I knew that it was quick.
2.14.
He wanted that ball out. So he's adapting, evolving. We'll see. I think the more I examine that situation, obviously Atlanta has to be right. And eventually at some point he has to be a really good starter for them. But I definitely feel like he's going to benefit from the environment and getting a chance to play with Kirk. He should, right? It's a nice opportunity for him. All thoughts aside about the investment,
Correct.
So it's on them to make it work, right? That's on them. So
let's make this work. We got two of the bigger volume performances up next. So let's go to break, come back, and then we'll have plenty of time to talk JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix.
Stay with us. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
JJ McCarthy, Minnesota Vikings. Couple of touchdown passes.
I enjoyed Mr. JJ McCarthy, and I mean, he had the early interception, right? Outbreaker, try to fit it in there, didn't quite have the leverage and was able to pick off the ball. But I thought that JJ McCarthy probably showcased the most of any of these quarterbacks in terms of consistency, working the ball down the field, working the ball outside the numbers. Now, it didn't come without some vulnerable moments, but I thought that JJ McCarthy, his willingness to just go play and try to make some throws, I could really appreciate it. He felt like a guy that was like battling for that job and wanted to showcase himself well. And it was, like I said, wasn't without some vulnerable moments, but in terms of down the field stuff, I was most impressed with JJ McCarthy of any quarterback that I watched.
So he had several layered throws over the middle of the field. He had that tight throw along the sideline. He had a go ball down the left sideline, which was the field. So it wasn't the near hash. He was on the far hash and threw that ball in stride. Stood in really well against a free runner through an inside gap and stood in tough to make a throw over the middle of the field. those are all things that you saw kind of like glimpses of at Michigan, and it was just a volume proposition that made it tough, right? Is he was never consistently asked to do it, nor did he ever have to consistently do it. I think there were a couple of times where he was late getting through his progressions and getting the ball deeper in and delivering with timeliness, and was either inaccurate or had to take tight window throws where if he's working through. And again, he's a rookie quarterback. That's to be expected, right? But I when I think about J.J. McCarthy, all of the flashes, you got the flashes of again. And then the things that it's like, well, you just need more time on task, I think, to really clean up the efficiency in which you're doing things. You also got some of those glimpses as well. But I think he had probably, if you took the best, I guess we have to say 3 throws because Daniels and Maye only took three throws. If you took his best 3 throws and you contrasted it to the other 5 guys in this first round of this quarterback class, he's probably at least 2 behind Caleb. And depending on your flavor of what style of play you like, you might take his top 3 throws over Caleb.
Yeah, I think it's a good call out to mention kind of just the the tempo of working through the progressions. First of all, good that he's doing that. And I think that's one of the benefits of McCarthy coming out of a pro style offense in college is that he's used to working the whole field and working progressions. Now, I think the timing of that, it changes in the NFL, but him being late on a few occasions, I think makes sense. But also that willingness where I thought maybe for Penix, it was, okay, we're getting the ball out quick. I'd like things. I want to go with it, where McCarthy was more willing to read it and rip it. And I really appreciated that about McCarthy. And how cool was that game, getting a chance to have Justin Jefferson like mic'd up and was he live the whole third quarter? And then like some crazy good moments happen where he was like, hey, this is how this route needs to look. And then like talking about his process and then guys doing it. And like, that was good TV for preseason football.
Yeah. We're spoiled between that and Sean McVay being mic'd up. I don't know if you caught any of that one.
Caught a couple clips. Yeah. So good.
Live during the game, and they're going for it on 4th down. They check to empty, and McVay's like, what are we doing here? That's people. I know a lot of people have a hard time getting into preseason football, but you get a lot of unique opportunities for stuff like that with preseason football that I think kind of pulls back the curtain a little bit. And anytime you can do that, between the Hard Knocks stuff and that in the preseason, we get a little spoiled with seeing what some of that looks like.
So J.J. McCarthy, I mean, the good news is, like you said at the beginning, we don't have like a whole lot of like, oh man, this person needs a complete overhaul and everything they're doing. This looks like a disaster. Right. I thought that these guys continue to look pretty good, and I thought McCarthy falls right in line, which gets us to Bo Nix. Joe Marino, dynasty owner of Bo Nix. Very, very.
Oh, you got to be thrilled about being a Jalen Wright dynasty.
Oh, brother, are you kidding me? We are swooning. We are swooning over Jalen.
You're welcome. Wright. You're welcome. I talked you into it.
I'll take
my credit.
I checked with some sources prior to executing the trade that landed me Jalen Wright. We're happy. We just need opportunity. So, anyways, this is about Bo Nix. 15 to 21, 125 yards, had 3 rushes for 17 yards. Started off with a couple of misses, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was really good to see him get an opportunity to kind of play through that. And then I thought once he got that out of his system, it looked a lot more like Bo Nix, where he ran the offense, had some of those good second reaction plays that you really love. I enjoyed that we got to see a 2-minute situation from Bo Nix kind of at the end of that first half. And I wish that they would have taken another shot at the end zone because I don't know what the hell 81 was doing on that fade, taking 45 minutes to get there. I wish we had 8 seconds left, so we went from 11 to 8. I know we had no timeouts, but it's freaking preseason. Give your quarterback another shot at the end zone. So I like to see that. I thought his best throw might have been the one to Josh Reynolds that Josh Reynolds just didn't play the ball well in the air.
It like went right through that end zone shot where Josh is over his shoulder like this, and the ball literally passed right through his hands.
Right. And I thought for Bo Nix, probably the most complete profile of these quarterbacks in terms of weaponizing his legs. I mean, a couple of design runs, but some scrambles as well to move the stick. So
was that left sideline shot? Was he off platform on that? Like, does he off the spot on that one? And that was like a really tight window throw that he got good velocity on. Like that one popped to me too, as far as using his legs.
I had fun watching Bo Nix. So
here's the thing for me with Bo Nix. I thought a lot of his hits, everybody's going to point to the average depth of target and the yards per attempt, and it was low. I thought he was really efficient in the quick stuff, whether it was hitting Lucas Kroll on a sit route or Kroll finding soft space or the touchdown pass where it's my first read. It's a tight space throw. I got to do it with accuracy and make a quick decision. That was Bo Nix in the Oregon offense, right? Like that's exactly what he did. And that's why we were so excited about the fit with Sean Payton, because it's like Sean's going to get some stuff, some good play calls and get it open. Do I trust Russell Wilson's going to take that snap, rear back, and throw that ball to the front pylon? Last year, I don't know that he would have done that.
The touchdown to Mims?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, would Russ throw that ball, or would Russ sit here and drop his eyes and try and shake everybody in the pocket and run around and then try and throw some Hail Mary to the back corner pylon?
Yeah.
So the execution, particularly quick game, good. And I thought the stuff deeper down the field, that'll develop with time. You mentioned that throw, that dime, quite frankly, to Josh Reynolds. That was a missed connection, but it wasn't
a lot of place to put that ball, man.
Right.
This is a heck of a throw.
I thought with Bo, the other stuff was when his process got rushed a little bit, when he had to speed up his cadence, the accuracy broke down on a little bit a few times. There were a couple of balls that were kind of behind the guy. He had to reach back on his back hip and make a catch, or he put one in the ground. That's, for me, the biggest question that I have with Bo, and the biggest question I had coming out is it's like within structure stuff, I think you're really good. When you get outside the pocket and use your legs, I think you're really good. But when you're in the pocket and you have to speed up your process, what does the decision-making look like and how accurate are you? Because things break down from him to time. And because he started so many games in college, that's kind of the big mystery is this just kind of how you're always going to be, or is this an area for that you're going to get better? And you'd like to think with the more time in the offense, the more he kind of knows like the back of his hand where guys are going to be and what the spacing is going to be like. Maybe that's not as prominent, but I did see a little bit of that. And that was kind of the knock that I did have on Bo coming out of Oregon from the past 2 years.
Did you see Jarrett Stidham's interception in this game? One of the goofiest plays you'll ever see in the whole one. I mean, I felt bad for him. Samaje Perine just double catching that ball and flipping it up into the Kenny Moore pick it off. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like,
did you see, speaking of crazy plays like that, did you see it was Dallas and the Rams, I think, had joint practice? Did you see this?
No.
And the ball hit a receiver in the hands, and the receiver went down, the ball popped up, and it like hit a defender and then careened back. And I think it was Stafford caught the ball on the careen off of it, like hitting three guys, and he like ran in for a touchdown. It was like a red zone period.
That's fun.
It was like an ultimate chaos play that would only be trounced by what Stetson Bennett did.
Oh, I was wondering. I had it right here.
We were going to sneak him in. Talk a little, Stetson didn't play last year, going through some personal stuff, and came back in. And in all seriousness, I love the fact that you can throw 5 interceptions in a preseason game. Only 4 of them counted.
Oh, okay. All right. You
threw
were
5. He threw 5 picks, and you can still come back and throw a game-winning touchdown pass in the final 10 seconds of the game.
Hey, him and Spencer Rattler and Stetson Bennett, game-winning drives, brother. Let's go.
There's a lot of Saints fans pretty fired up about Spencer Rattler.
Maybe we should talk about him. I didn't really watch that one, so I don't have much to offer. But
I just think they're ready for it to not be
Derek Carr.
And man, Trevor Penning was bad.
Was he? Oh no,
man. He playing right tackle. It's not good. We kind of got into this already, and I know we're off topic, but we're done with the quarterbacks. Why you drafted a first-round tackle who played right tackle and are moving him to left tackle and taking your left tackle who's been bad and making him learn everything on the right side and play right tackle, as compared to just letting the guy who played right tackle play right tackle and the guy who has played left tackle play left tackle. I don't know.
Put guys in their best position to be successful, right? I feel like that's a job of a coach.
I don't know. Not feeling it. Not good vibes. A lot of good vibes this weekend. New Orleans, offensive line, not a lot of good vibes. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. And that's going to do it for us here on Locked On NFL Scouting Monday podcast in the books. I'm Kyle Krabs. He's Joe Marino. You can find us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And we will be back again tomorrow and all week long as we gear towards week 2 of the 2024 NFL preseason. We hope to see you then.